week on Life Off-Road, we've got an old school shootout. It is Nissan versus Toyota. Now we've got a modern coil-sprung GQ versus the old rusty leaf spring Toyota. Guys, seriously, is this a fair fight? It is now.
Hello viewers and welcome to a special episode of Life Off-Road. Today we have three competitors going head to head to prove once and for all which brand is superior, Nissan or Toyota. Our first contender and representing Nissan is series regular James from New Tracks. James's GQ is lifted with coils all round on 35-inch muddies with locked front and rear diffs. Next up is the wildcard entry, Emma. Em's online presence is spreading like wildfire, and with a GQ as gorgeous as that, we can see why. Emma's chopped GQ is also lifted on coils and on 35-inch muddies, however only has a front locker. Finally, the solo warrior representing Toyota is Simon. Simon's 40 is lifted on leaves front and back with 37-inch muddies and lockers all round. Simon also has a much shorter wheelbase than both Nissans. But what are the rules?
Alright, Em, this is how today is going to work. What we're going to do is, everywhere you can follow the 40 for a substantial obstacle, we've got a prize for you. How does that sound? Bring it on! Alright, I like that. Now, if we find an obstacle where the 40 can't get up and you can get up, you are going to win the whole prize pool. Sounds good! Alright guys, let's get started. We've got a nice little one to warm up. We'll get into it, see how we go.
Simon took the lead. He got one wheel in the air. I've never seen a car so close to tipping over without doing so before in my life.
He's just trying to find the hardest line for you. He's a real stand-up guy.
And then all of a sudden, it just started billowing smoke.
What is happening over there? Are you on fire or? Dude, are you actually on fire?
So I got the fire extinguisher out, ran to the rescue, because I'm a hero.
It's not on fire.
I mean, it seemed like it was on fire.
Something's gone in the engine.
You want to roll back, or?
We need to roll back, yeah.
Have you got brakes or?
Yeah, I got brakes, all good for brakes.
We inched you backwards. James had the fire extinguisher ready.
Nissan versus Toyota, who was first in to rescue me?
The Nissans.
The Nissans. Get that bonnet up, get under there.
When Simon went to go start the engine, he heard a bit of a clunk.
We started doing a little bit of diagnosis, trying to work out what's wrong.
Because it's a Toyota, that's right.
And Nissan pulled it out.
Nissan
All they're
pulled
good
it out.
for.
Filled a cylinder with oil.
Well, is that what that clunk is? What's a clunk?
Clunk is a valve or a piston stopping.
Stopping.
Pull some sparkies out. Also give the engine some time to drain a little bit. Do you guys want to have a drive? Let's break all the cars.
Given that was the first obstacle of the day and the first car up that obstacle, it wasn't filling me with a lot of confidence. But then I remembered that I'm driving a GQ. I had a crack up the hill. There's a fair amount of flexing and undulation. I did find myself almost on my door at one point because the ground was so soft and it was starting to cave in on itself.
He's going to keep falling in.
He's got an interesting driving style. He doesn't get a lot of spotting. He doesn't look a lot where he's going, but he seems to pick an okay line and he keeps his right foot into it and somehow he just gets it through.
I didn't even feel that actually. Like, was that even an obstacle or?
Next up, Em had a crack.
After seeing how close you were to being on your side, it was like, I need to find a line that's not going to make me do that.
She was able to just straddle the washout and pretty carefully just tiptoe over it.
I think the sidewall just grabbed just enough for it to not slip down, which is probably lucky.
It was an excellent drive.
Nailed it! Awesome drive.
If I was going to do it again, I would have done it like Em did it. Girls, showing the boys how to drive.
And with that, Emma takes the lead, leaving Simon trailing behind. But wait, What's that noise? And suddenly Simon is back in the race. I think we'll leave the extinguishers handy just in case.
We got the engine running again. We got the 40 mobile, but Nissan was dominating at that stage. Seeing those two Nissans drive up there so easily, the Toyota got a little bit scared and thought, I better fix myself back up. But the 40's back in action, the patrols are up front. I don't know, I think they're winning at the moment, but let's keep going and see what we can do.
The next challenge is a short, articulating course. James is first out of the blocks.
The next obstacle wasn't too far ahead. We got out and assessed the situation. Again, it was a significant washout, which required a lot of flex. Definitely diff locks helped in that situation. Had the twin lockers on, front and rear locker on, and that really helped me out a lot, and I just kind of putt-putted my way through. If I didn't have those lockers, then I would have had a lot of wheel spin.
James, do you have your GoPro on?
Oh, this bit's easy, but what's after it?
Let's see if M can follow that. Uh-oh.
We started to have a little bit of trouble with
Something in the front end.
something in the front end.
Yep. I think I was just scrubbing too hard in the rear, and it doesn't help that I was unlocked in the front and rear. Yeah.
The patrols are just so wide, so stable, they're awesome for this sort of work.
After a shaky start, she's across the line.
Toyota's turn. Round two, bring it on.
Now it's Simon's turn, hopefully with a few less fireworks this time.
That's how we do it.
Obstacle 3, a major rock step up, followed by a longer incline through a huge rock garden.
Straight after this bit, Simon says, all right, let's all pull up and get out and have a look at this track. And it wasn't even a track. It was hectic. It was washed out, massive boulders, massive rocks. Simon wanted to redeem himself because, you know, he broke his car on the very first obstacle of the day. So he thought that he was going to go first and he was going to make sure that we knew he was king.
The 40.
Yes.
How'd it go?
You were on 3, maybe 2 wheels at one point. I think you stalled it.
I did stall it.
You can't park there, mate.
Are you driving an auto or a manual?
Turned it back on eventually, and then made it up.
There was a couple of sections where we had to scramble over some big boulders and had some massive wheel lift as he meandered really up this washed out river with no drama or difficulty of pretty much any kind, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, baby!
That's more like it, but he's still only halfway.
You weren't thinking what the hell Simon got me into?
Not at that point.
No, that's coming.
It is coming, yes.
Now let's see how James goes.
I knew looking at it that I was going to have a lot more dramas, mainly because I had a long wheelbase. I'm sitting a little bit lower to the ground.
Oh, geez. This is pretty hectic. I don't even think this is a track.
It was also a really narrow channel, and I was worried about dinging in my panels because I don't have too much protection. I started off pretty strong, scrambled pretty cleanly up the big boulder, got some nice wheel lift.
Awesome drive, James.
That was fun.
I was wondering if the longwood base would have enough ramp over to clear it, but it ate it.
Well, maybe here you're gonna have those problems.
Got to the point where there was all these massive boulders that I knew I was going to get hung up on. What was required was pretty much the same strategy I always employ, which is I'm just going to fang it and hope for the best. I got really, really close to bending in my door panels and my quarter panels. Little did they know that was all on purpose. I know exactly what I'm doing. Rock sliders took a lot of the brunt of the damage. Other than that, the car got through relatively unscathed, which I'm super happy about.
Woo! Reckon we got up, reckon we did it. See what damage I did on the side there. Definitely felt something bang and crack. It looks like I put most of the weight onto this slider there. Got a big chunk out of it. Then it hit that, ripped this off. I mean, you can get them, you can go to Woolies and get them. They're easy to get. I think we're pretty good. I'm pretty impressed. On you, Leroy.
Not so fast, bucko. I'm not falling for that. It's still -1 point for damage.
James came up the big rock face. Did that give you a bit of confidence that's going to be okay for you?
Yeah, we have the same wheelbase. It's a bit
Exactly
easier
right.
to gauge where to go.
You picked a good line and you went up no issues at all.
Got through the first little washout obstacle, and that was when she started to have some trouble.
You got dragged sideways, slipped down into the hole.
I was trying to get onto the log, and at that point I think that's when I started losing the front locker. Yes!
What do you reckon? What's on your mind?
Well, what I think
It's driving like a Toyota.
does it make us?
It's actually pretty good.
We filled up some trenches and then I went to get the winching gear. And as I was coming back down,
Awesome.
we got out of that nasty predicament. Then we got to the boulder section.
Same thing, worked for a little bit, then the hub went again.
We did have to winch you up that section. We put up the winch cable, which was safer than trashing the vehicle and the track. You actually getting back onto the track where that big washout was, you had an awesome drive up there.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without lockers, so she did really well to get up to the point that she did.
With noise sounding suspiciously like a broken hub, it's earned M -1 point on the leaderboard.
Definitely a hub. I think that's what the squeaking is. I think it's spinning inside there.
The guys decided they wanted to have a look at the hub, inspect them and have a look to see what's going on.
It's on your nose, bro.
Turns out they were knackered. Luckily, I had a spare, brand new, genuine hub. Whilst Em and Will were rebuilding their front hub, we decided to have inspect the next obstacle, and this was going to be the biggest obstacle of the day.
Now, this episode is proudly presented by Renergy. They have supplied the major prizes to young Emma, turning up today and doing a sensational day of wheeling with us. All right.
It's two big boulders that look like a butt crack, and you have to put one tyre on one cheek and the other tyre on the other cheek. If you don't line it up perfectly, you'll slip into the crack.
No ifs or buts about it, Simon is stuck.
Hung up on your diff, go backwards.
I can't go anywhere. Won't move anywhere.
Butt crack rock is not for the faint of heart, and that's exactly why it's part of this challenge.
Clear, winching!
A quick winch and he's cleared the way for the Nissans to give it a crack. And he's off. Off the rocks and almost off the track.
One of the things I did learn about butt crack rock is how much and how close and the affinity it has to people's diffs. Really loves them.
James seems to be cracking under the pressure.
Serge, do the same thing that it was Simon, so you know you have to correct hard.
Yeah.
Parts are slipping. You want a winch?
Yeah, it's winch. The butt crack rock strikes again. You know why they call this butt crack rock?
You tell us, James.
It's because it stinks.
Winch in!
That was actually a new achievement. I've actually now gone forward driving and had none of the four wheels touching the ground. It was just diff all the way. It was like ice skating, you know, you just kind of, you know, just dragging. It was a horrendous sound.
And we have touchdown. Bringing up the rear is Emma, and with her fresh hub installed, she's raring to go.
We stack some rocks first.
Yep, just to give me a bit of an advantage.
Get the nose up. You got the nose up there unbelievably well.
She's off to a ripper start. She's gotten further than any of the guys. But at the last second...
Hold it there, hold it there. Bloody awesome drive. You want a winch or do you want to give her a chance of driving?
I want a winch.
You want to win?
Yeah.
There's still a chance if she goes hard right, we can still pull it up.
I don't want it on a chance. I don't want to do damage.
Winch in! We skull dragged you. The rear diff, we got it off the flange. Got it up high enough, we could then reposition the winch.
Well,
Because of the extreme angle that the car was on, at one point Em was really worried about tipping the car over.
keep going. It's not going to flip. Keep going.
I looked down and there's this.
It seems Buttcrack has gluteus maxed out all of the cars.
And just dragged you the rest of the way up and out. Good job.
Scary.
No, you were safe the whole way.
So that's it. The comp's over. Emma and James are tied for first, leaving Simon just 1 point below. Wait, we still have to get out of the forest. Oof. We're gonna have to deduct a point from James there for needing a winch whilst not even on an obstacle. And seeing as Emma's GQ pulled James to safety, it's only fitting she pulls into the lead.
Emma, thank you so much for coming out and being on the show. We've got some prizes of appreciation and for the awesome driving. I think Emma kicked our butts out there. So Emma, we've got a Bushwhacker camping torch, the Tread Chocks, this UHF antenna from EcoX Gear, got a couple of collapsible camp bowls there, and Renogy, along with Nutrax, our major partner for this special episode. We've got a 100 amp hour deep cycle battery, and we've got one of the new Shadow Flux Renogy solar panels here. All right, now also, of course, we've got some great gifts from Nutrax.
I've got a few bits of merch for you, some stickers, nice hoodie there, and of course I'm going to give you 2 years of Nutrax Premium on me.
Emma, congratulations. Awesome to have you out here. Good luck with the social media. Everyone follow Em on social media. Jane, you only got us lost once today.
I know.
Jane, Nutrax, awesome. And of course, congratulations to me for winning Toyota versus Nissan. Why are you a Toyota or Nissan fan? Tell us in the comments.